Today I want to challenge and remind you guys to take the time and make the time to grow your relationship with God. Let me ask you a question. What are you good at? And I mean like really good at. What do you excel at? It might be your career. I mean, hopefully you're good at whatever it is you do for a living. Maybe you're an exceptional parent. Maybe you're a phenomenal spouse. Many of us do music in some capacity, whether it's playing an instrument or singing, or maybe you have technical abilities, whether it's on the computer or audio. But my question is, what are you great at? The fact is, most people aren't just naturally great at something. Like, even if you're naturally good at something, in order to be really good at it, in order to be excellent, that takes work. I spent most of my life honing my musical abilities, and years ago, somebody told me something that always stuck in my head. You either get better or you get worse, but you never just coast. There is no standing still. And that challenge always stuck with me, and over the years, it's inspired me to practice and train. So whatever it is that you guys do, whatever skill or ability you have that you are excellent at the end of the day, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. You know, it's up to you. So my point is this. Your relationship with God is exactly the same way. You're going to get out of that relationship what you invest into that relationship. And it's never going to grow unless you work at it. It's totally bonkers for me to pour hours and hours of time into developing my musical skills while neglecting my relationship with Him. And yet that happens all the time. I mean, we've all met and probably work with people who have more ability at something than they have character. I can't tell you how many people I played music with who had more talent than they had honor or integrity or maturity. Heck, if it wasn't for Christ in my life, I'd probably be one of those people. But we do that all the time, guys. It's so easy for us to pour ourselves into developing our skills and our abilities and to neglect and ignore our souls. So hey, if you don't remember anything else from this video, hear this. Don't do that. I feel like sometimes our relationship with God is exactly like what was told to me years ago. You're either getting better or you get worse, but there is no standing still. We are all constantly standing on this spiritual incline, guys. And if we're not pushing forward and climbing and pressing into God, then we're probably sliding away from Him. There are too many forces in the world that are actively trying to pull us away from God. But even without any of that stuff, we're human beings, and human beings kind of suck. We're spacey and we're inconsistent and we're easily distracted. I mean, sometimes I sit down to try to spend time with the Lord and I catch myself zoning out or falling asleep. So whenever and however you connect with God, I just want to challenge you and urge you to make the time to do that. Now, let me leave you with this because I do want to clarify something. Your salvation is not what this is about. You are saved by grace alone. You are forgiven by Christ's finished work for you on the cross. And if Jesus Christ is really alive in your life, then you don't need to do anything. You don't need to work to earn God's approval or God's favor. What I'm talking about is that any relationship has two sides to it, right? And it can either be a close relationship or a distant relationship. What kind of a child do you want to raise? Do you want to raise a kid that grows up, goes off on their own, and then they never talk to you except like on Easter and Christmas? Or do you want to have a kid who is talking to you and calling and texting and just sharing their life with you a couple times a week or maybe even every day? Or let's take it up a notch. What kind of child are you? Have you called your mom lately? Do you talk to your parents fairly often, if you're still able to do that on this side of heaven? What kind of child do you want to raise, and what kind of child do you want to be? Guys, it's exactly the same with our relationship with God. We are His children. He is your Father, and you're going to get out of that relationship what you invest into that relationship. Find a way, make the time to feed your relationship with God. Exercise those spiritual muscles. We live on a spiritual incline, and if we are not constantly trying to push onward and upward, then we might be sliding away. So when was the last time that you really talked to your Heavenly Father? If it's been a while, why not right now?